Today is not a good day to cut rates. He basically doesn't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of
Does he need to
uncertainty
explain that,
ahead.
though, to Donald Trump?
The good news for Jay Powell is he doesn't actually need to get President Trump's approval. That's actually a really important part of maintaining stable prices and a low inflation and maximum employment is that we have an independent central bank. And one of the things the independent central bank is supposed to do is keep the economy operating sort of right at potential. When the federal government is making a lot of radical decisions, it could end up spiking inflation or causing a recession. I think that there's a lot of uncertainty right now. A lot of the cuts that President Trump is attempting to make, those could be weakening the economy, which would be a reason to cut rates. But then at the same time, some of our latest measures have been that consumers' inflation expectations are really stuck above 3%. And the Fed's got to hold strong until it can bring inflation expectations back down, to their target. So I think if I'm them, I think today is not a day where they have enough information to make a decision to change course.
Well, today is the day we heard from the Commerce Secretary nominee Howard Lutnick in his confirmation hearing, Betsy. And when he was asked about the potential inflationary impact of tariffs, he said it was nonsense that tariffs cause inflation, and pointed to India and China saying they have lots of tariffs, but no inflation. Where is he wrong? And would the chairman of the Fed agree with him?
What a great economics teaching moment. It's the difference between thinking about an ongoing rate of inflation and sort of a one-time increase in prices. So he is right that if we have tariffs, we will not have high inflation forever. We will just have high inflation as we transition to our new higher price level. And then once we get there, it shouldn't cause inflation to keep going up and up and up. If all prices tomorrow go up by 10%, we'll have inflation of 10%, but then it could stop. And then that's just our new price level. Inflation could fall back down to zero. So he's right to say that what a tariff will do is cause us to have a surge of inflation. Prices will go up. And now we're just living in our new world with high prices and high tariffs. That's not going to cause ongoing inflation. So the question will be, how do we manage that transition period with inflation? What could cause ongoing inflation is if people's inflation expectations start to expect higher inflation because of this one-time increase. So, this is basically what happened in 2022, where we had supply chain problems led prices to go up. People started to get pretty upset about that. We saw it having to reverberate throughout the economy, and it took us a little while to get prices back down. That's basically what would happen with tariffs. We could expect a similar process. We'd see inflation go up. We would see it reverberate, trickle through the whole economy. We'd see the Fed take action to try to calm down those price increases down, and then we'd sort of settle into our new normal. So I think the little bit of truth there is that we won't get inflation forever if we have high tariffs, but if he increases tariffs, we will have inflationary pressure that the Fed will have to fight.
Okay, unless we complicate this further, Betsy, with incremental, phased-in tariffs. Hold the threat, start small, threaten to go big. You said the Fed won't have enough information today. That means it never gets enough information in that world, right?
Well, that actually might be like the sort of world's worst policy, because what he's doing is people are all expecting sort of prices to go higher tomorrow. And if you're expecting prices to go higher tomorrow, the right thing to do is to try to buy more today. And so that fuels demand today, which causes inflation even if there's no tariffs. It's just the very expectation of tariffs coming down the pipe can cause you to want to buy more. Let's say people think that tariffs are coming on cars and cars are going to be 10% more expensive in a year. Well, that's going to mean if you were thinking about buying a car in a year, you might want to buy it today instead. But as soon as we see a big surge in demand for cars today, that's going to start to put upward pressure on cars. And we're going to see those price increases happening even earlier. And so that incremental aspect doesn't solve any problems. And in fact, it might even make those problems worse. What we, sort of has to happen is to try to convince people that there won't be ongoing price increases, so that people can expect inflation to go back to where it's been. I think the challenge for the Trump administration is that before he even threatened price increases through high tariffs, people's inflation expectations remained somewhat elevated due to everything that happened during the pandemic. So people are on guard for inflation, and they are going to react to it quite quickly. And that is that self-fulfilling prophecy where the expectation of inflation causes inflation.